the way that Monday Night Raw kicked off tonight was just absolutely red hot. You had CM Punk, before this brawl even took place, you had CM Punk coming out and just laying it down with an incredible promo, calling out Rock, calling out Cena for being bald, all the things. and talking about Seth Rollins. Well, here comes Seth Rollins. CM Punk meets him in the aisleway, and they brawl throughout the evening, guys, leading to an announcement from Adam Pearce that next week at Madison Square Garden in a steel cage match, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, one-on-one once again. Andy, you brought it up at the top of the show. What a way to start and weave this throughout Monday Night Raw. I think they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. Just kicking the night off with a angry CM Punk and just letting him go out and cut a promo is a recipe for success instantly. And I think it was a great way to kick off the night. Him just tearing into The Rock, then tearing into Cena, and then tearing into Seth. And then I'm glad that it wasn't a promo back and forth, because after what happened in Elimination Chamber, that would have made no sense. But for Seth to just come out and then just brawl, like just brawl all night long. Honestly, I could see that being the entire build. If we go to a WrestleMania match between these two or whatever that looks like, every week's going to end with them in a brawl at this point, because the hate for each other is as big as what it was for Drew and Punk. My only question is, does the match even happen? Because does Roman show up at the beginning of the match and close the door and just all three of them start going at it, or does he show up at the end? Because it's absolutely happening one way or another.
He comes up through the ring just like the Undertaker.
I never really thought about any of that, but I sure love the way they brought the energy. I mean, that's the way to kick off a show. I always think of, like, whenever I was back in school and you have that one really irritating kid that just follows you around, and maybe it's time for the spelling bee and it comes down and you look over and it's you and that kid and you're like, God, I hate this guy. And he just will not leave you alone. That is what I feel like Seth Rollins is doing to poor CM Punk. Punk cannot rid himself of this man. It's like a wart on your hind end. You can't get it gone. And do you think the cage match is finally going to be the blow off, or do you think this thing is just going to drag right on to, Hell in a Cell, I guess, is about as far as you can take it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote down in my notes here. I feel like this has to lead to either Hell in a Cell between these two guys at WrestleMania, or a triple threat adding in Roman Reigns. Like Andy said, maybe Roman shows up at the beginning, shows up at the end. Who knows? I don't know. And the reason I don't know, Jared, is like, I think all three of us sitting here would be perfectly fine with a Hell in a Cell match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestleMania. Like, we're all three in agreement that that's a great match. But Jared, what do you do with Roman Reigns? Like, he has no match at WrestleMania at that point because The Rock's not going to wrestle. It's too soon to rush a Jacob Fatu match. You don't want to do Roman and Solo again because that doesn't make any sense. No. You could, in theory, add him to Cody versus Cena if you're playing into this whole Rock 1, 2, 3 thing. Okay, I can probably get behind that. But what do you do with Roman if he's not involved in this match, Jared?
How crazy is it that we're actually talking about WrestleMania and how excited we are? And, like, if we don't see Roman Reigns on the card, I think we will. But if we don't really care because there's that many huge stars right now and there's that much going on that keeps our attention that we don't need Roman Reigns. And who would think that we would ever say that? Same way I never thought that I would say I wanted a John Cena t-shirt. A lot has changed. A lot has changed since Hunter's taken control, man.
Yeah, I think if the easiest one that you could just pick up and kind of go forward with would be Roman and Drew. Like, I think you could find a way to make that happen with Drew just hating the bloodline and blaming the bloodline for everything and his problems and blaming everybody for going back and helping Roman and all of that. I think you could do that. But again, like, the match itself between Punk, Seth, and Roman would be great. I don't think anybody would deny that. It'd be great. But it's not as intriguing as Seth and Punk inside Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. Like, that is the matchup I would rather see than the triple threat, because I just feel like we're putting these three guys together because we're doing Cody Cena and we're doing Jay Gunther. And so we have to put the three next biggest stars together in the ring because we have nothing else planned for them. That's my biggest complaint about putting those three together. But again, like, I don't think it's necessarily rushing if you do Roman and Jacob. Like, I think you can make that happen pretty quick, but it's not going to be done justice if you do it that quickly, I think.
And you just had Seth smash Roman's head into the stairs. So wouldn't you think that the first person he's going to go after, man, would have to be Seth? I mean, could you do a three-way Hell in a Cell? I purposely didn't answer your question, Chris, because I couldn't think of anything to do with him. But I mean, you could drop him in a Hell in a Cell, make him come back and just kick the crap or do something big to get back at Seth, and then to where the point that it makes sense for all three of these men to hate each other. I don't know what you would do to get him and Punk really pissed off at each other, but could that be how you work in something about the favor?
Yeah, it's
those three guys.
Exactly what I was getting ready to say, Jared. The favor is there, and you've got Heyman sort of playing the middle between Roman and Punk, and that could be it. You know, Roman's like, okay, you're my wise man, but what are you doing with this guy? Blah, 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 whatever. You could sort of play Heyman in the middle there. Quentin, thank you for your comment. We appreciate it. Insane Elimination Chamber. Can't wait for WrestleMania. We can't either, man. It's going to be a spectacle. And again, I can't believe we're talking about a WrestleMania card where we don't have a clear direction for Roman Reigns. We said the same thing about Cody Rhodes last week, and now we're saying it about Roman Reigns. Andy, I think to your point, you could rush Roman and Jacob because it's a dream match. All you have to do is put them face to face, do what Triple H and Undertaker did, just look at the sign, and boom, we're off and running. Well, I mean, that's fine. I think you got to do storyline purposes. You got to have Jacob versus Solo first in order to build that a little more. But I know that it's not the triple threat that makes the most sense because, again, my triple threat is Punk, Drew, and Seth inside Hell in a Cell. That's what I would do, but I'm obviously not booking. The more and more I think about it, you can make Roman, Seth, and Punk work, Andy. It might not be exactly what we want, but as you said, it'll be a great match. It makes Roman feel like an afterthought, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah, because, I mean, a triple threat at WrestleMania does not definitively put an end to Punk and Seth.
Correct.
Like, it does not. So you have to, again, come back to that at some point. Are you going to do that like 3 months in a row or 4 months in a row, however long we've been kind of telling this story? And again, like you said, Roman's the afterthought. What does he gain from being in this match? Like, if he wins, then everybody's going to be upset because we really wanted to see Punk and Seth go at it, so one of them should win. If he loses, he just kind of loses and goes on to do nothing, and now we move forward to the Bloodline and The Rock and everything else. So I don't – for Roman, it seems like a lose-lose situation, putting him inside the triple threat. But you're not going to have WrestleMania without Roman Reigns on it. Right. If he is available and wants to wrestle, he's going to be on it at some point. And I would rather him be in the triple threat between Punk and Seth than him be in the triple threat with Cody Cena now. I think after the Cena heel turn, it needs to be those two guys at WrestleMania and nobody else. So I don't know what you do with Roman.
I agree.
Would you do if
Go
they
ahead,
left
Jared.
him off the card completely? What would you do if they left Roman off the card completely? You get to Mania. Cody is going in the ring against Cena. Against Cena. You have those two going at it, and out comes Roman Reigns, spears the crap out of Cody, and he aligns with John Cena and The Rock.
And Cena lays down for Roman, and the ending shot is Cena, Roman, or you say this, Cena talks about how he wants to shake the hand of the man who wins 18. Roman's not close to 18 yet. But could you imagine if Cena won 17 and then laid down and Roman pinned him and Roman won the title just right there? So Cena gets 17 and then he's not champion anymore. I mean, crazier things have happened. The one that you didn't bring up, Andy, and Jared, I want your take on this, is it might be a lose-lose situation for Roman in this triple threat match because you don't resolve Punk and Rollins. You probably don't resolve Punk and Roman because we have Heyman in the middle and we have the favor, like you mentioned. But Jared, the big one that we're all clamoring for, you in no way resolve Roman versus Seth, which we've been begging for a proper one for years. So you don't fix that one either. It's just I don't know. There's
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Roman's not on the card, but other than some sort of big impact, what other sense does it make as to why they've left him off that card?
Right. I don't know.
I mean, unless he's not going to be available, like unless he's shooting a movie or off doing something else. But again, I don't know why he wouldn't be available for this WrestleMania. So I don't know. It's a decision and it's a weird one, but I don't know what the plan is. It could be. I mean, we could go the John Cena route from WrestleMania 34, where he just doesn't have a match. Somebody shows up and challenges to a match, or he does an open challenge at WrestleMania. I mean, you could do something like that, but again, that just feels, coming off of the 2-year or 3-year run that we've had with Roman, that feels like a letdown. Well, yeah, it feels like a letdown.
Yep. Again, as we've said throughout this show, let's let Triple H cook. Let's let him figure it out. It will be fun. It will be fine. I trust Roman Reigns is one of those guys that I trust in Triple H's hands as far as booking decisions and all that. Like there are some guys that, like AJ Styles hasn't been booked great under Triple H. There are several guys, Johnny Gargano, I don't think has been booked great under Triple H. Roman Reigns, he's going to be fine. I think we're going to be okay with Roman Reigns under Triple H. Again, we appreciate you guys being with us, whether you're watching us live or watching us on replay. Make sure you drop your comments, drop your questions, and like the video, subscribe to the channel most importantly. We would appreciate that so much.